Good morning. Another beautiful day. Looks like we had a range here. The breakout. Looks like this downtrend has a break a new low, a slight break a new low, or slight close outside, I guess. And it looks like this downtrend is correct. Let's see, prices are failing to reach the opposite side, leading to this break here. I'm going to draw a range with the overnight highs and the lows. The spike up, and it looks like there's probably a spike in channel. I'm going to first attempt to draw this without the spike in channel, which would be something like that. Now I'm going to take a look at what this is, what that looks like. And I think this is definitely what fits best right now. Have to see how prices react to see if this is correct though. It's looking like prices might not come down to test these lows with how strong of this how strong this correction is and how much this is just continuing upwards. So right now I would mainly be looking for long trades. Ideally a second entry long, either off of the trend line or after the break of it, close to the EMA. These allergies are killer. My nose has been runny for the past at least week. Still looking like the spike in channel is correct. possible overshoot incoming. And still close back within the uptrend. I don't know why I'm like struggling to speak right now. Went and grabbed some tissues, so hopefully that will help. Just continuing to work higher, definitely looking for longs. It's looking like this range is correct, or at least as of right now. This downtrend is probably not right. I mean, it's probably like, maybe it already has a break. I don't know, it still looks right though. And looks like we are getting that overshoot now, heading right into the open. So it's possible that, again, it could just be something like this, the uptrend, and maybe it's still in play. I still like the way that this fits so far, so I'm going to look at where the midline might go. I mean, ideally the midline would just turn like that, if that is correct. But there also could be this uptrend. I'm just going to look at both of them for now. Still looking for some kind of second entry long, regardless of which one is correct. I'm going to remove this one. I think the spike in channel is more correct. In fact, it might have been an overshoot because prices are just breaking now. We have one leg back. So looking for some sort of second entry long, looking for the break in new high here. But I want to keep in mind there is this overshoot. And so after an overshoot, prices might not make the break in new extreme, though this is a small overshoot. So I'm thinking it will still probably occur. Price is moving down really strongly through the EMA. I guess it's also possible that the uptrend was just something like this, and it already has a break in new high. But I like the way that this fits for now. So now you might get a second entry long here, but I feel like this downtrend is going to need a break in new low. So I don't think I would take that. What I'd prefer is to see this downtrend get a break in new low, or at least a convincing attempt, and then a higher low. But I feel like just taking, so like if we were to break lower and get a bullish bar here, I feel like that's going to be too risky. Looks like this is probably an overshoot of this short-term downtrend. Cause that break right there. So moving up, overshoot, break, overshoot, break. Now we're just moving sideways. 2 stacked bars with a doji. It looks like we are moving higher. So downtrend, overshoot, break, one attempt at a new low. And we still have just a first entry, no second entry long yet. So next break below and move up would be a second entry long. Looks like this could be 1, 2 legs up. But this is an area where I sort of struggle because I'm always thinking, okay, now that we've already made these two legs, then I should be careful to go long now. Or should I be viewing this as 1, 2, and thinking that it could be like a failure type of trade?
Order submitted.
I know regardless, I'm definitely long biased here. And to me, it looks like this downtrend now has 2 attempts at a new low. Still expecting prices to go to this high. So I think if there's a good signal bar here, I might be interested. You did push through the EMA there, which is not ideal. So maybe it's the former, where it's this downtrend overshoot, 2 legs up, and now we're making the attempt at a new low. I'm unsure. But if we get a good signal bar here, I might be interested. Prices are looking a little bit sideways though. Okay, not seeing it so far. There's a few things to consider. Prices are moving pretty sideways. They are not respecting the EMA here. And we're towards the middle of this daily range here. So it looks like we are going to get a good signal bar there, but I don't want to take that one.
Order canceled.
There's no momentum in that bar. Everything's too sideways. Not seeing what I'm looking for. So it looks like this was a leg back overshoot, 2 legs up. So as I was saying, I couldn't quite figure out if this is going to be like a prices had made 1, 2 attempts and now they're going to go higher, or if this was, okay, prices made 1, 2 attempts up and now they're going to go lower. That's an area where I really struggle. And I guess part of that is, never mind. I was going to say, I guess part of that is the fact that you have 2 different obligations, the break a new high and the break a new low. But otherwise, I wouldn't even really, be looking for 2 legs back. It probably made no sense, but I hope I understand that later. Definitely congestive. Maybe finding some sort of range area, but there's clearly some support here. So I'm not really looking for this break a new high anymore. Prices have kind of corrected too much. So with this short term of a trend, I'd be looking for a break a new high, maybe if prices were around here and kind of around here, but now the prices are continuing to move down and sideways. It's feeling like it doesn't hold as much weight anymore. It's like you're getting too far away. I want to take another look at this and see if there's possibly a break a new high already. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it like this. I feel like recently I've been overcomplicating trends. So I'm just going to keep this one simple, not do anything fancy with it, and treat this as a break in 2 legs up. In which case, if that's correct, then this is, well, it's right into the EMA, but it's probably a decent trade right there. The support doesn't look like it's holding. I want to see if we react off the second measured move, second leg down at the measured move. It's possible that we find some reaction there. So right now I don't really have any expectations for prices. This downtrend still doesn't have a break new low, and I do think that this one is correct. So prices may come down to test this, but I'm not going to really base a trade off of that because of just kind of where we are and how far we've moved. To me, it looks like this uptrend has played out. Downtrend gets an overshoot, 2 legs up, now a break a new low. We might be forming some other downtrend here. So something like this could be correct. Trying to see how prices are going to react once they reach this measured move. They're getting close to that. So we've now basically reached that measured move. I want to see if prices are going to turn up or if they're going to continue down. Possible triple test here, looking for the break and new low of that downtrend. So finding this resistance right here, plus off the EMA with a good signal bar, just a first entry. But you are looking for that break and new low, so I could see this potentially being a good trade. I'll mark that green. I think with this one going right into the EMA, it's probably not worth it. You couldn't even take it as engulfing. You'd have to take it just directly right into the EMA. Looks like we might be building out a small range. So it looks like prices made a break of this downtrend and attempted a new low, pretty much right at this measured move, which is where I was expecting some sort of reaction. And now we're turning up pretty strongly. So we're getting a series of bullish bars. You have this kind of doji, this one that sells off a little bit at this resistance, and then one that closes almost on its highs, and a second that closes almost on its highs. Overall, price is just looking really range-like and choppy. It's hard to get a handle on exactly what's going on. To me, it looks like all of the uptrends have played out. This one has played out. This has played out. Technically, this spike up has not played out, but I'm not really going to put a bunch of weight behind that. This downtrend has not played out, but prices don't look like they're particularly eager to get down there. This downtrend has played out, so we now have two legs down, and then this one also has a break and a double bottom, so it has played out. So everything has kind of played out at this point. We're just chopping sideways. I don't have any kind of clear direction, so I'm just waiting until I kind of understand more about what's going on. Zoned out there for a second, zoning back in, trying to understand what's going on. Price is just chopping sideways. Looks like we might be building out a smaller range here. Clearly this resistance didn't really come into too much play. Of course, as I say that, prices are kind of look like they broke out here and kind of came back within that though. So maybe it is kind of valid. Also could be some sort of midline. So let's see where that would be. That would put it right up here. Something like that. So definitely a possibility that that's a midline, but not a bunch of proof that that's there yet. Of course, now I can't pick it up there. Move that back right over here. And let's see if this range ends up playing out. Prices failing to come back down to this support level might show that they're going to break out the high side. I'm not particularly looking for any setups here. The range is too uncertain, and I'm not very good at playing ranges anyway, so I definitely don't want to play an uncertain one with basically no direction. It'd be a different thing if the range was more certain, or if there was kind of more of a clear direction, like an obligation, like a break into extreme, or price is clearly coming off of one, maybe off of this support or off this resistance, where I have a clear idea of like where prices are going. Looks like we might be turning off of this possible resistance area. zoned out there. Gonna zone back in. Prices looked like they turned down off this range, but I don't think it's correct. I think there's something else going on. Price is making higher lows basically each time. So higher low, slightly lower low, but then a higher low. So just kind of working higher, higher high, higher high. Could be a trend here, but it really looks more sideways than anything. Draw it just in case. Could come into play. Feeling slightly more long biased than short biased, just because of these higher highs and higher lows and possible uptrend. But it doesn't feel super certain. I'm not like dying to go long. This uptrend is playing like it is correct. You have a bunch of touches on this side. Price is playing off the opposite side as well. Uptrend's still in play, so just looking for maybe a second entry long if it happens. These allergies or this cold or whatever, it's really getting annoying. Pretty strong down push there. So two very strong bearish bars in a row. We haven't really seen that yet in this uptrend. And there was this right here, but then these are kind of two neutral bearish bars. Same here, one bearish bar, and then here's the first time we get two in a row. They're strong closing on their lows. Could be a sign that this is going to break, but we will see what happens. Still finding some support there. I'm going to draw the correction trend. I wouldn't be looking to take a first entry, so even if we get a really good signal bar here, I'm not looking to take that. Now, however, if we push up and get a second entry long with a good signal bar, I'll probably be taking that. So I'm going to get rid of the short-term downtrend. I don't really feel like it's needed there. I can clearly see this. Okay, turning back down here, creating the possibility for a second entry. Ideally, I'd like to see that close on its lows, tick below, trap all those bearish traders, and then create a nice bullish bar off of the trend line. That's the most ideal situation, I think, right now. Until we see that break lower. Wow. Until we see that break lower, I'm not going to put in my order because I don't want to mess myself up. Okay, so we did get that break lower. I'm
Order
put
submitted.
My order in. I want to realize that this is congestive. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 stacked bars with a doji in there. Prices are continuing lower. Still the possibility this ends bullish, so I'm waiting. No way it's going to end bullish now.
Order canceled.
So that was a pretty strong bearish bar there. There's the possibility that this is a second leg down, and we could still get a second entry long down here if prices tick below and get a bullish bar. I took one similar to this the other day, where it was kind of not a super strong trend, and there was a decently strong break of the trend, creating this 2 legs back type of deal.
Order submitted.
And it failed on me, so I need to be careful here. And I'm not like 100% sure why that other one failed. Doesn't look like this one's going to set up quite right.
Order canceled.
But I would still be looking for a higher low. So now we have these clear 1, 2 legs down. Now we're pushing up. I'd like to see a higher low above the EMA, looking for the break and new high of this uptrend. So we are getting that push above the EMA, closing above it pretty strongly too. That bar closes exactly on its highs. So now I'd like to see a higher low. Price is pushing pretty strongly back below the EMA. It looks like they might close down there. Okay, so now prices are looking more range-like and choppy than anything. So we got this pullback, these 2 legs down, and I was expecting prices to move to the new high for the uptrend. But instead what we're getting is after prices push below the EMA, they closed above, now they closed back below. So it's looking really range-like and choppy. Prices are going repeatedly below and above and below and above and below the EMA. Whenever I was listening back to the video yesterday, I realized just how often I'm popping my fingers. It's probably pretty annoying. So we are continuing down here. It looks like this uptrend is correct, but as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of just so choppy and sideways. I can never be 100% sure. Now I'm pausing looking for longs because after we made these 2 legs down, prices then are now continuing downwards. So sure, I could draw something like this, and you could just say, oh, well, it's like gotta break a new low now, but this, I don't know, I'm not certain about that. So let's just, let's wait until something clear happens. Maybe, I don't think that I want to take in, like if prices pop above the EMA and made higher low, I would definitely be tempted to enter, but I don't think that that's gonna be a very smart entry because I'm just not exactly sure what this pullback looks like. Definitely still looks range-like, just with how sideways prices are, but I don't see any clear range parameters. I mean, you could put something like that there, and maybe this is a range. It's possible. I'll leave it for now, but I'm not certain about that. Definitely with the way prices just turned down there, it feels like there's something there. I'm not sure. Just want to look at possible other uptrends. Although this one feels right though. You have all these touches. You have all these touches on the opposite side. You're breaking it. But with how like sideways and choppy and not steep this is, it might not even get a retest. Plus there could be some sort of resistance, like is right here, preventing it from getting this retest. You can clearly see the 2 legs down, and then there's the 1 attempt higher. course, with the benefit of hindsight, I see a couple potential trades. There is this one, where after the downtrends have all played out, you have a spike up and then a first entry, second entry. It is congestive and under the EMA. There is this one that I pointed out earlier. After the spike down, you have 2 legs up. So that could be one. I pointed out this one as it happened as a possible triple test, looking for the break and new low. But honestly, just with how far it went, and meaning that it didn't go very far, I don't think that that's really one, because it's kind of already 2 legs down at that point. And yes, you are looking for the break and new low, but you're looking for the break and new low of a retest trend after it's already created the measured move, with the first entry in a kind of sketchy setup anyway. Probably not. But these two, both of these two, are right into the EMA, which I don't love, but on a contextual standpoint, after the uptrend is played out, spike, 2 legs up, big bearish bar, okay, that makes sense. It could be a green. Downtrend's played out with the 2 measured moves. You get a spike up and you have a second entry long right into the EMA. It's congestive, but I don't know, maybe that's something macro mark. Now uptrend, we're coming into this resistance. You have a first entry, second entry failure, engulfs this bar. Maybe that's a good one. I don't know. Just pointing out areas of interest, and lots of these, like I said, are hindsight, because I did not really see these at the time. Clearly a short-term downtrend here. Seeing how prices are reacting in this support zone. Breaking that short-term downtrend. It looks like prices are finding some support off of this range level. So with this uptrend not playing out, plus prices finding some support here, I'm starting to feel like this range could be correct. I'm questioning if this uptrend is correct though. Could be something tighter like that, but then that still wouldn't play out. So either way, you're getting an uptrend that hasn't played out. And I feel like it's hard to say that there's not any kind of uptrend here with the repeated higher highs and higher lows going on. So close outside of this downtrend, expecting prices to move to the break and new low. You could get a triple test here after this downtrend plays out, and that could be an interesting trade. So let's say downtrend, break, new low, you get a good signal bar right off of these lows. That's something that I might be interested in. Possible higher low, but you'd be going right into the midline of this, right into the EMA. Downtrend hasn't played out. Looks like I'm getting some sort of notification on my whatever's down here, the Google Chrome. So I'm gonna check that out and see what's going on. Oh, it's just some my ad block updated. God, why is everything is popping up right now? Got that notification, got the other one. I wonder why. I guess 10:24 a.m. is the time to push notifications on everybody. And we are continuing up, getting some follow through on this bar. So follow through. And continuing up, so looking really range-like with these trends not playing out. Finding some selling now. So we're getting strong continuation, and then now each of these bars is finding some selling. You can see in these wicks right here. Again, what I'd like to see is a close outside and a new high for the short-term uptrend, ending right kind of at this resistance level. It's possible that prices are moving, or at least attempting, the break and new high of this. So now that we have this break, this could be like 1, and we could be breaking that and attempting the new high here. So we got to close outside of that short-term uptrend now. Expecting prices to at least attempt the highs. But as you can see here with the short-term downtrend, I was expecting prices to at least reattempt these lows. It never happened. So we could easily just turn down. Not really giving any chances to enter on either side. Didn't really have anything here. You could have, I guess, taken this higher low, but that feels way too aggressive to me. No, up here definitely didn't get any kind of entry to the short side. So this could be an uptrend break, attempt at a new high, fails, now we're continuing lower. This is quite strong. So bearish bar ending almost on its lows. Big bearish bar gets a little bit of buying, but then gets a lot of follow through on this bar. Seems like it's picking up steam. Look at how this bar is rather small. This one's even bigger, and then this one's actually not even bigger, but is kind of comparably sized to this one. But it is finding a lot of buying on this tail end right here. Right towards the end, a lot of buying there. Kind of hard to tell what's going on with prices just swinging every which way. It's crazy to think that, I mean, just all these people are buying and selling. Like, I mean, the prices are only moving because people are buying and selling. And I'm just looking at this, like the bid and the ask, and all of these orders ticking off, all of these people buying and selling. Just wild. There's a lot going on. So both sides not playing out, downtrend not playing out, uptrend not playing out. I mean, we are moving up now, but prices retrace so much of it, it's kind of not that quick, like 1, 2 that you'd expect on a typical play out. Failing to reach both sides too. So it didn't quite come down to the support, didn't quite come to the resistance. Again, didn't come with support, now failing to come to the resistance. We're kind of trading in, creating like a wedge-like pattern. So you can see prices, not really going to start there, but you know, trading in here, trading in here. We're making lower highs and we're making higher lows each time. Possible second entry short, because you do have some resistance in this area. So it's kind of like a triple test and maybe a second entry short, but I'm not going to take that. I don't feel certain enough about it. What I really want is for prices to come off of this resistance, like the true, what I feel like is the true range resistance up here. Gonna check out Mac's midday chart. Still not up yet. Probably be up in the next few minutes. So we are continuing to push up. Looks like we're going to come off of this resistance. So I want to look at the short-term uptrend. Looks like it has a slight close outside. Possibility for kind of these two legs up right now. So like two legs up, 1, 2 in a larger picture, plus a second entry off of the resistance. That is a possibility. Right now, with it being a range, you don't have to worry too much about the EMA. So I might consider something like that.
Order submitted.
So you haven't quite reached this measured move yet. Prices are pretty choppy. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 stacked bars. This bar doesn't have any kind of momentum. It was just a true doji, traded in a really small range the entire time. Okay, so we ticked higher. Looks like we hit the break and new high here for this uptrend. So now there's the possibility for prices to reverse. So this uptrend now has a break and two legs up. We extended past this measured move. Looks like you might want to, I might want to extend this out. Something like that. So we are continuing
Order
up super
canceled.
strongly here. Not going to look for any shorts. It looks like this up momentum and up bias is more important than this kind of sideways action. So though we might still come back and create some sort of breakout pullback to this, this is a lot of upward momentum. So it looks like Mac's chart is pretty much exactly like mine. He does have this downtrend drawn, which I played around with, but decided against in the end. Oh, and he does have, wow, okay. So I switched around this channel because I was like, I'm getting too complicated with it. But Mac actually has this spike in channel like I had it to start with. So that's interesting. It's like I was saying yesterday, how you'll fix one problem and then you'll create another one. So like I was saying, well, I've been getting too complex with my trend lines. And then because of that, I try to get too simple and I create something that is incorrect. So it's interesting how that works. There's the potential for a long trade. So this is a pretty strong move up right now. So the probabilities are that we're going to make another attempt up. Even though this kind of is the retest trend, so you get this one, you get a break a new low, and then this is kind of the retest trend of this one. This is even stronger than this trend, and it feels like prices are going to continue higher. So if we get like a two-legged pullback and prices find support off of this old resistance, that could be an interesting trade to me. Just going to kind of have to wait and see what pops up. But right now, I think I'm long biased. So now that we have a break of this uptrend, I'm considering taking a long, but I have to wait for the right setup. Price is looking congested right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going on 6 stacked bars. So right now I have 2 targets. I'm expecting prices to test the break and new high of this uptrend, but also I think they're going to make a breakout pullback. So come back and test this breakout, because it looks like as they broke out, they kind of left a gap there. Also, you just expect prices to come back and test support or resistance after they break them. And I'm considering a possible reversal trade. So we're getting this uptrend. It looks like it's probably going to get a break and new high here. If we got some sort of lower high with a good signal bar far from the EMA, then maybe that's something I'd take. I don't think I want to take it though. Just if we go up and we create a break, and so we created this break and new high. If we get a bearish bar here, I'm not going to take that one because it's just too uncertain. We could get a second leg up. But if we continue up a little bit higher and create that lower high, I think that would be enough proof for me. So now the uptrend is played out. I'm not looking for longs anymore. Just continuing to work sideways. So this uptrend got a break a new high, and now we're just kind of chopping sideways still. Like that. Continuing up, so even though this was a break in new high, this looks like a much more convincing close outside and new extreme. It's not looking like prices are really going to come down and test this. If they were going to, you'd think that they'd do it right here. It's not what you saw though. Instead, you kind of get this failed break out of this congestive area, which leads to a even stronger rally. Okay, so we are picking up some momentum to the downside now. Still finding support off of this this level down here, this horizontal level. Still getting follow through. So bearish bar, another big bearish bar, finds a little bit of buying, gets some follow through. So we're pushing through the support level. We were able to close through there and through the EMA. Looks like we're coming back to test this breakout area. There's the possibility for some sort of lower high. Now this uptrend is played out. Could get a lower high coming back to this breakout area, but it's moved kind of far. So if I was going to take a lower high, I would have preferred it to be right up here and then moving down. I need to be careful not to get too focused on looking for a trade. I just noticed myself thinking, oh, well, if we just, made a failure here, like a little, first entry, second entry / failure, I would definitely be interested. But then I thought about it and I was like, do I really understand what's going on? Is that really a high probability setup? And probably not. So I need to be careful not to just say, oh, well, what might be a good setup, and instead just read the chart and then see what kind of pops up. So there is that lower high, but it's clearly just a doji move too far. No real momentum there. So it looks like prices attempted to come down to test this breakout, so the short-term downtrend, but it wasn't able to play out and we weren't able to reach this breakout. So that's definitely telling right there. Since that was the expectation, but we're continuing higher, there's obviously still buyers in the market. Looks like the target is up here. In the overnight, we traded from, let's see, where's 930? So where the close is, the gap would be like somewhere around right here. So from about here to here. So we're probably coming up to test this, the overnight highs, and to fill this gap to the upside. Made a slight higher high, but it's really just kind of a double top. Could be an expanded range here. So while that was just kind of a congestive area that I wanted to mark up, you could just have a expanded range right there. Haven't quite even hit those measured moves for this range. Really, this has just been a choppy sideways day with not a bunch of clear price action going on. Possible lower high, because we've already kind of created this double top. Uptrend is played out. Looks like we're in this range, but it's congestive. You'd be right into the midline. You did make a higher high here. Overall, it looks like the bias is up, so I'm not interested in that trade, but maybe. It looks like the signal bar is not really going to bearish anyway. Or maybe it is. I think it's funny how the EMA shows the decimals of like, 0699, but the ES chart only does 25-cent intervals. These are the types of days that just feel like a total waste. I mean, not because I didn't take any trades. I'm fine with not taking any trades, but like whenever it's this low volume and like nothing really interesting happens, I don't really feel like I've learned anything today. But of course the learning comes later, so it's never a waste. Also, it's patience and discipline. Maybe a triple test up here. There's not really like a great reason to go short though, so you'd just kind of be taking it because of the pattern. And that I don't love. That feels like a gamble. Like I'm just like trying to picture myself taking that, and I'm thinking, well, I actually don't really know if that's gonna work out. So it just kind of feels like a gamble. Looks like I was gonna say we are getting a bearish bar, but it ended as a doji, so it's not a bearish bar. So still a potential for that triple test, but as I said, I'm not going to be taking that. And I'm really on the fence about whether it would. I mean, I'm not really on the fence. I don't really feel like it's a great trade, but I see the pattern. Sometimes that makes me think, okay, that could be worth taking. Trying to see what areas on the chart I might be neglecting right now. Like, what have I missed? The only place I can sort of think of is this engulfing second entry. Like coming down here, coming off this support level and engulfing this bar. I could see that maybe being one place that I didn't really consider. Other than that though, I mean, there's all these ones where I'm like, maybe, you know, maybe these two legs up and maybe this second entry, maybe this failure. I don't, you know, a lot of just kind of like maybes, and these are like far out there too. These aren't like, oh, you know, I almost took that type trades. Getting that bearish bar. So there's that triple test that I was talking about. That's another like, just maybe, I don't know. It's like kind of like, just kind of scrape something out of this. I don't see anything really great. I feel like I've spent a lot of today kind of zoned out, but in the grand scheme of things, I really haven't. Like whenever I think about like, oh, well, I've actually been paying pretty close attention to most of the bars. But there are some areas like right now where I'm like, well, you know, I'm just kind of zoned out because there's nothing I really need to pay close attention to. But at the same time, as soon as I say that, there will be something that I should have paid attention to. So I will mark that triple test that I mentioned earlier. It's a potential. Makes me uncomfortable how many markings are on here, because these are all like kind of just I don't know, not the best entries. I'm just trying to think of like what could be, like what could make sense. Any of these could make sense. Man, these last 30 minutes are going to be a drag. I mean, it's already feeling really slow and choppy and boring. But man, I already know these last 30 minutes are just going to be like real slow. 125 bars, so it's pretty similar to yesterday's volume, actually. If we go from 9:30 to 11:26, although yesterday I think had even more volume. 11:26. 142. So yeah, yesterday had a little bit more volume than today, which is crazy because yesterday also felt really slow. And the main reason why I wasn't interested in this triple test is because I'm not like, there's no target to the downside to me. I mean, maybe you're looking for this break in new, you're not, maybe you're looking for this breakout, like for the retest of the breakout, but it looks like price already tested that and weren't able to get down there. So it's not like it's like an imminent thing. This uptrend has played out, sure, but then we came and we held the EMA again, continued higher. So it's like you're just taking a triple test in the middle of nowhere. Possible range high, sure, but like what else are you looking for? It doesn't feel like enough. Price is not able to come down to the support here. So you can see they moved down, didn't quite hit the support. Now we're going back up. plowing through that resistance. So we had a big bullish bar closing one tick from its highs, and then it's getting continuation, pushing up and through the resistance. Might be time for prices to test the overnight highs and fill that gap to the upside. Making continuous higher lows here. Now we have a higher high. I don't think this is correct, but I just want to take a look at it. Spiking channel, I don't think so though. Prices after closing outside of this range pulled back within this one bar right here and quickly found some buying. Now we're headed back up. This is one of those days where I'm feeling like, well, I don't really care what happens, just like something happen. Looks like there might be this leg up, 2 legs back, and then another leg up here. Maybe it's better to start it from over here. Takes you right to this resistance. And the if you look at the close from yesterday, well, I guess where is the close? The close is like 4 o'clock, I think. That's 3, so 15. That's 3 o'clock. So it'd be right here. That's the previous day close. So that's the gap right there. So all of the targets are taking us basically to the same place. Overnight highs, resistance, gap from yesterday, right there. Measured leg up. So if you measure this leg, measured leg up, it's all taking us right to this zone. And it looks like that's where prices are headed. We've now filled the gap. Next 2 targets. Just going to go ahead and remove that. Now I'm going into reversal mode again, where I feel like, man, I kind of want to take a reversal. I know it's not the best thing to do ever, but now that we are approaching these highs and filling these 2 targets, it feels like if we get up here and we get a good lower high, maybe it's worth taking. Okay, so we've reached basically all our targets up here. Reached that measured move, we filled the gap, and we're coming basically off of this resistance level. This was a strong short-term uptrend, so I'm expecting prices to break it and attempt the new high, and then there might be an entry there. I'm actually going to move this to start off of there because I feel like that's kind of more correct. Just something like that working up. Now we get that close outside. So expecting prices to attempt the new high here. Possibly make the new high. If we get a break in new high, I don't think I'll take that. Too much momentum, especially if we make another higher high. But then if we make a higher high and a higher or a lower high, maybe. Shoot, I always do that. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. It's getting kind of hard to see. Okay, so we have ticked higher. I'm going to put in an order just in case we turn down strongly. This would be a more aggressive trade. I definitely realize that. But we filled those targets to the upside. We're super far from the EMA. Looks like we're going to push up and create that break in new high. So I'll still be looking for a lower high canceled here. So uptrend, break, new high. I'll be looking for a lower high. It's a double top currently, but it looks like it's going to tick higher there. Yep, there it goes. So we now have that break new high and the clear test of this overnight high. So I wouldn't want to just take a bearish bar. Like I wouldn't want to take this one just in case we get another leg up. It's definitely a possibility. Not worth the risk to me. But I will be looking for a lower high. Thankfully, these last 30 minutes are not ending up as boring as I thought. Whenever we were chopping sideways, I was like, I think I might just get off. But now we got some movement up. We're getting something somewhat interesting here. So I'm back. I'm back in the zone. The auto zone. So until we kind of tick higher and then see something that could resemble a lower high, I'm not going to put an order in. All right, so we now have the potential for a lower high.
Order submitted.
Because we have 2 legs up. This short-term uptrend has played out. We've reached all of our targets to the upside. We're far from the EMA. And we ticked above this bullish bar. So we might get something here. Gonna zoom on in. Let's say that ends up being the high. I don't want to push too far through the EMA, or ideally at all. So trying to see where I would need to enter. Probably about there. If this does end up working out. Continuing up on this bar. Still the potential for a lower high. So if I do take one, ideally that's where I'd want to take it. Prices are looking pretty sideways though. So we've got 1, 2, 3 bars stacked within this bearish bar. And before that, there's even more stacked bars. So you can kind of even say this big bullish bar, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars stacked within it. So it's not setting up exactly how I'd like. I'm not seeing any momentum either. It's kind of just been choppy. Definitely would be a little bit worried about pushing through that. Considering taking this, I think if prices close through there, then I might be interested. But it looks like they're finding support off that level again. I don't feel great about that. You're really close to the EMA too, so I don't feel great about it.
Order canceled.
Just gonna go and remove that. Now, will we continue lower? I don't know, we might, but I just don't feel great about that trade. We are continuing to push lower a tad there. So as far as what entries I might still be looking for, maybe a failure. So maybe if we attempt to go higher again. Go ahead and mark that as an area of interest. It looks like even if I were to place my order where I was planning on placing it, then I wouldn't have gotten filled. And I would have gone ahead and taken it off by now that prices have touched off the EMA, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for price to come back to the EMA. Not looking for anything more than that. Though I do think that prices might come back and test this breakout. So we haven't tested either one. So we haven't tested this breakout here, and we haven't tested this one either. So those are two targets to the downside. It's funny how sometimes like anything is more interesting than the task in front of you. I was just tearing a vinyl off of my shirt because I noticed the corner was up a little bit, so I caught my interest. It's funny how this is in front of me. I'm looking at like all of this, and somehow that is more interesting. I don't know. The mind is a weird thing. So failure is not setting up how I'd want that either, because even if you break lower, you're still going to be going right into the EMA, which has been holding all the way up. So ideally what I would have wanted to see for that failure is a push below the EMA and then pull back and boom. It's not what we're getting though. Just 10 more minutes. So that was a good way to burn 20 minutes right there. So we burnt, I mean, you know, from about here where I was saying, man, this is really slow, to like, you know, about here now. That was at least an interesting 20 minutes. Cannot complain about that. Going to remove that because I don't think that there's really anything there, especially as prices kind of push back up. potential failed second entry long, but like I said, going right into the EMA, which we've been holding. Not really anything to do there. The only other entry I might be considering is if prices maybe made a second entry short, kind of further up. Looking like it'll be a day of no trades though. But that's okay. I used to not take trades for like weeks at a time. I definitely don't think that that was like a good thing to do though. I mean, it definitely built up my patience and the discipline, but I don't think it was the right move. Probably should have taken more trades and I could have learned a lot more, I think. I wonder if there's room to scalp there. Looks like there is room to scalp, so maybe Mac will mark that failure. I don't know. So again, I feel like I spent a lot of the day sort of zoned out, but I didn't really like miss that much. I mean, I was still watching and I still was kind of thinking about what was going on, but it just wasn't really that much going on. So again, I don't know if that was like a bad thing. I don't know. I think that's a pretty good place to go ahead and wrap it up. Only got a few minutes left here, about 3 more minutes, and there's obviously not going to be anything setting up, so just going to go ahead and call it.